Hello, in this compilation episode of the 177 Nations of Tasmania podcast, we have 3 more clips on the theme of food and hospitality, a really common topic that comes up again and again, as it's such a big part of culture. In this particular collection, you'll hear clips from Rebeka and Peter about how hospitality customs in Slovenia differ quite markedly from Australia, as Sergio reminisces about the traditional roasting of pigs on special festive occasions in his little village in Portugal. Ariana describes the importance of coffee culture to Brazilians and how the similarities with Australian coffee customs have helped her integrate better. And Manu recalls childhood memories of picking tropical fruits on a small island in Tongan. Of course, these are just little tastes, pun intended, and I hope it encourages you to listen to the full episodes to learn more about these stories.
If you've seen these Italian movies, the Slovenians are almost the same. So a huge table, very good food on a table, everybody talking. Yeah. It's a lot of that kind of gatherings. Yeah.
Also, for me, as a guy inviting another friend to come over for a beer or whatever, back home it would be like you meet him on the street somewhere in a shop, say let's catch up for a beer, and he'd say yeah, and he'd be at my place in, let's say, 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Here for me it was first question was, what do you reckon in 3 weeks, would that be okay for you? Was like, what just happened? And in 3 weeks, when that person arrived, he had a beer with him, and that for me was, what happened? I don't get it. It's really connected back home. So if you meet him and you talk with him, that means I'm going to see you soon, and let's chat. Let's have a chat. Let's just talk. Let's have some man-to-man time. Here, it's all has to be scheduled ahead for a few weeks.
For a few weeks.
Yeah. And even if we invite friends, that will mean that we'll meet up in 2 or 3 weeks. So that's, again, a bit different. But that's how it is. It's not that I'm saying our way is better.
Yeah,
or
we're
anything.
just comparing.
Yeah, it's how we learn to live here.
Yeah.
It's
so you just don't go and knock on somebody's door and say, hi, do you have time for coffee? That would happen in Slovenia. Yeah. Or what was very interesting for us also to learn, that it depends when you are inviting people, what time of the day. Mm-hmm. So you can have a tea, you're inviting somebody for tea, like that means tea and a cake, or cheese platter and wine, or then you have a dinner or lunch, and you have different. So if I say to somebody, come please at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they would expect something different than in Slovenia at that time.
Okay.
So
what would you expect at Slovenia at 4 o'clock?
So in Slovenia, anytime you come, the table is usually, you get a lot of food. Now you would get food. Some cold meat, cheese, bread, something to drink, or some cake. Mm-hmm. So it's we do give our love with food, Slovenians. Yeah. So it's like it's expected to feed people when they come, any time of the day. Yeah.
And of course, you'd like to show off the salamis that you made a few months ago, and just trying to convince them that yours are actually the best ones they can have. So it's just because nearly everyone's making their own salamis, and or prosciuttos or whatever sausages there are. Yeah, that's always in the fridge waiting for it to be cut, or something baked, cookies or something like that. Mm.
Yes, pork is a big thing, and I probably forgot to tell you about pork, about the pigs actually. And my grandparents used to have pigs, and there was another big day when they would kill the pigs. These days is a bit different though. I think it's not legal to kill the pigs at home, although in those places they still do, because again they still come from that old-fashioned way of doing. They carry on those tradition things. They probably would have some issues if they would, if the authorities would go there. But sometimes what happens is, because it's such a traditional thing, there is a bit of like they close a bit their eyes about that in some places. They wouldn't close their eyes in a big city, for instance, but in those little villages, they say it's just a tradition thing. So they let it do this sometimes. So I grew up doing that, and the family would come for a whole day, and would be a big family day just to kill the pig.
Yeah.
And do the whole thing, prepare the pig, prepare all the meats, and it would be a whole day thing. So it was like a family party day.
And is that done at a certain time of year, or?
Yes. I can't remember, but it would be more on the cold season. So I would guess maybe winter or autumn, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I remember the cold. Yeah, and they would do all the whole thing. So the women would go and wash the intestines. I don't know what the specific names of it. Like. And then it would be used to do the chorizo,
the sausages
and all that, and the men will be cutting the meat, and always some alcohol was around those days. And there was some domestic wine too. So both my grandparents would have vineyards and have their own wine.
Yeah,
they would do every year. Yeah, and again, it would be another big day. Invited the community to go and pick the grapes and do the whole thing. And I remember still, I don't know if you know those real rock, I don't know the name, where they put all the grapes and then you just walk on it singing.
That's the thing that Portugal is sort of famous for, right?
Yes,
the treading on the grapes.
Yes, that's it. And the men would just be there and singing, and it was such a big and beautiful party, and that's how they would prepare all the grapes and to do the wine. So I still remember vividly those memories.
If I go to my mom's house, there's always a kettle on, and for the dripping coffee, and there's always coffee. Every time you go, there's always coffee there. If I'm taking a friend to my mom's house, she's definitely gonna offer you coffee. That's the first thing. Oh, would you like some coffee? And then you go, yes. And then the experience that you have when you drink coffee in Brazil might not be the same than Australia. Mm-hmm. But I must say, one thing that was easy for me, and 100% easy for me to get used to Australia, was the coffee culture. Mm-hmm. You guys have the same culture than us. Kids at the beach drinking coffee, which fine for Tasmania because it's a bit cooler, but not fine for Sydney. But Sydney people still drink it. Yeah, it's quite a nice way to engage the culture from Brazil into here. And when you think about moving to other country, we never think, oh, what am I going to find out in there that's similar to Brazil? But this coffee thing definitely brought me closer to the culture here. Going to the US, working in an airline there, which was the same, which was for Latam at the time, the people there are Brazilians and they don't miss the coffee. They got used to the way that Americans drinking coffee, which...
They've been corrupted.
That's exactly what I think. But then talking to a friend of mine, she goes, Ariana, it's not. It's just because we kind of don't have the culture of having a coffee with someone as part of a social environment. Mm-hmm. We have a coffee to get up and go. We have a coffee to go to work. We have a coffee to be on. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I was talking to a friend the other day about US. She lives in the US. And she said, we don't take that coffee culture with us anymore. Whether if you go to a Brazilian's house here, you're always going to find someone often offering you a coffee and cheese bread. That's another very remarkable thing from Brazil. It's cheese bread bowls, which is quite common for us, and you always have that with the coffee. So if you go, let's say, to my house or to someone's house, that's what always we're going to have handy, because it's something welcoming, it's something nice to have, and it's not heavy, and it's like a little snack. But it's also part of that social environment, social activity of inviting someone to your house and making them feel welcome. That's the feeling that I have, at least for me. When people look at me, oh, Ariana, why are you drinking so much coffee? Sometimes it's just to relax. Because for me, it's not I'm not drinking a coffee to go or to keep working or to keep typing. It helps. It does, I must say.
Yes, that's an interesting observation that you mentioned about that the way people drink coffee in America is about being on the go, whereas Brazil and a bit more here. It's like a ritual it's a social ritual.
Yeah.
In a way, you're having a break.
Yes, that's the point. You're having a break from everything. Often I get invited to go to try different coffee shops, new coffee shops, or even old coffee shops, from friends, from Australian friends, and also from non-Australian. I used to do that a lot more in Sydney, but coming to Tasmania, I decided to take the role of me going myself to get to try new coffee shops. But that was a relaxing time. And for me, it is the time that you sit down with a cup of coffee and you look out the window and you appreciate the environment around you, or you appreciate the friend that you're having with you in a coffee shop or in the house. So it is very much aligned with the Australian culture, drinking coffee. Oh, let's go meet up for coffee. And it's more about relaxing, not just go, go, go.
Yeah, but the life in the island, it's beach, swim every day. Yeah, playing, there's nothing, no toys, no nothing, there's no light, no shop. Yeah, no lollies. Bread, we'll have bread once a year, that's Christmas time. We see some bread.
Right.
We have some cake, pudding.
Yeah.
So we look forward to part of the kids' life in the island. Look forward to Christmas.
Yeah.
Something like pudding and cake, bread. Yeah.
So what was what was sort of daily life like for as a child on a place like that?
Just playing. That's tree, climbing on tree. There's always fruit somewhere, and part of kids' activities, playing and getting fruit that we all going to get. We bring all the whole lot of fruits home, and that will be all eaten and sharing by everybody. And it's always, like I'm saying, the season rules or determining the way of life. Yeah. Because then the tropical fruits come in seasons, There's all different wines, passion fruit, which is, sweet and fruity and juicy. And But, I mean, swimming and fruit are the main, stimulant, I suppose, of... it's always things that we have to do, washing the pots, wash the dishes, collecting firewood for the fire, because it's fire, everything cooking had to be firewoods, Coconuts is just big, they always need coconuts for the thing.